This is why I can't make YouTube videos. No less, this is why I can't make YouTube videos every day, guys. Because I have an idea, and 3 hours later, I have my video together. Let me show you what that looks like. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? But with that said, let's continue. So, this video is going to be about psychological projection. And I've had a lot of thoughts about my buddy, Rich, from Review Tech USA. And he didn't like it when I made videos where I was sarcastic over video games. So I'm just going to make a just as real as I can video about my opinion. I want everybody to understand I am not a therapist, but this is what I see, and this is what I see throughout the YouTube community. And probably because, let's be honest, I'm a broken person, right? I have epilepsy. I had my own issues when I was a child. When I was younger, I thought I was stupid because I had epilepsy. But then I got older and I got into the workforce and I got into the real world and I realized, damn, there are a lot of people that are stupid and I'm really not stupid. So that helped me out becoming a grown man and realizing you're not as dumb as you thought you were. So for any young people that are subscribed to my channel that might be a little too hard on yourself, don't worry. Hopefully you'll grow out of that when you get older and you start working with idiots, okay? So, or if you happen to work retail and you work with the public, that'll make you feel real intelligent. So, with that said, guys, once again, I'm not a therapist. This is just my opinion, and I'd like to show you what I see, but let's start with this Trump tweet, because I thought it was hilarious.
I almost can't believe that. Now that Russian collusion, after 1 year of intense study, has proven to be a total hoax on the American public, the Democrats and their lapdogs, the fake news mainstream media, are taking out the old Ronald Reagan playbook and screaming mental stability and intelligence.
Actually, he goes on to say, throughout my life, my two greatest assets have been mental stability and being, like, really smart.
And he literally writes, like,
I'm not throwing
really
that in there,
smart.
yes, I want to point out. Like,
yeah.
really smart. Crooked Hillary Clinton also played these cards very hard, and as everyone knows, went down in flames. I went from very successful businessman to top TV star to President of the United States on my first try. I think that would qualify as not smart, but genius, and a very stable genius at that.
The president says he's, like, really smart.
Timothy, your reaction?
Well, don't you remember in elementary school and high school that if your parents didn't tell you this, your teachers did, that people who repeat things about themselves are not always to be believed? I find it...
Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a genius, but damn, that tweet. Seriously, Donald? So, but we have some more fun audio.
Trump lives in a perpetual state of conflict, attacking his political opponents, attacking his own party, even his own cabinet members, but there is a major tell in some of his attacks. Donald Trump is often guilty of the very things he accuses of others. In psychology, this is known as projection, a habit of taking your own traits and attributing them to others.
Now, before we get into that whole projection issue, let's read another tweet by Donald Trump. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Donald Trump tweeted, will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger and more powerful one than his, and my button works. Now, when I hear that, I immediately think about somebody's dick, okay? And so I immediately think insecurity. And then you can also think maybe it's even sexual insecurity, right? And remember when he was running for president and he was standing on stage with Marco Rubio? Remember the whole hands thing? And he was like, look at these hands. Look how big my hands are. There's no problem with these hands. And clearly there's no problem with the size of my dick, too. Even though he didn't say dick, but that's what he was implying, right? So once again, insecurity, maybe even sexual insecurity. So I just watched that today, and it just made me think about this guy right here, believe it or not. I know what you're thinking. Another Review Tech USA video. Guys, let's be honest. He's paying me to make these. It's free advertisement. Maybe just not the kind he wants. So let's read about some psychological projection, okay? What happens when you have a whole bunch of uncomfortable, embarrassing, and annoying emotions that you don't want to deal with? I'll tell you what happens. You make a 32-minute video with your shirt on inside out over a video game console. That's what happens. Emotions are projected onto other people so that other people become carriers of our own perceived flaws. This emotional displacement makes it much easier to live with ourselves, right? Because everyone else is responsible for our misery, not us, right? Just like with that 32-minute video Rich made on me a few years back in regards to Xbox One S not being an upgrade, okay? Clearly, I was being a sarcastic prick in that to have an opinion, but to also make people laugh. He literally got pissed off over the power brick thing. Now, here's what I was thinking over psychological projection. I was thinking, Rich, people like Boogie, many times have said they were not going to go back to drama, or they would try to stay away from drama, but Rich seems to go back to drama. And I was thinking that Rich keeps going back to drama because of psychological projection. I see Boogie, I see somebody that's large, and I see somebody that's not happy with themselves. Now, if anybody's ever watched Boogie, I didn't need to tell you that because he's told us that, right? And it's the same thing that I see with Rich. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to cut this and add any pictures, but there's pictures out there, and I saw a picture. I think Rich was maybe with his wife's family. It was an odd picture. It looked like somebody was having a birthday. There was a balloon in the background, and Rich was standing by that balloon. But what he wasn't standing by was the family. The family was standing together. Even a young lady was kind of bent over in that picture, and they were all around getting in the picture, and Rich is kind of like standing with everybody but in the back. And he looked awkward to me. Now, there's also a video, not on Rich's channel, but it's of Rich going to some sort of like video game conference, some little bootleg garage video game thing. Not a lot of people there, but a couple of people going there to maybe meet and greet some YouTubers, and Rich is there. And he's standing in like this line, and somebody comes up to him and says something to him, and he just looks super awkward. He looks super awkward, like maybe there's some anxiety there. Now, I'm not self-projecting that, although I have had anxiety issues in regards to working at a GameStop. You work in retail, it's a little small box for any of you that's been in a GameStop, and all of a sudden, it's Black Friday, and everybody's piled around the counter, and you feel like a sardine. So you can tend to get some anxiety issues when you're behind a counter and there's lots of people. So maybe that's why I see that, okay? I'm not self-projecting that because I have anxiety, because I don't, guys. I will say this, though. Because I'm broken and I can admit I'm broken, that makes me a better person. I'm not saying better than Rich. I'm not saying better than anybody. I'm just saying a healthier person, okay? So me and my buddy talked about that, and people got upset with me in my comments section, and Rich got upset with me in a couple of videos, and people took things too seriously. And it's probably because they're broken and they haven't dealt with themselves being as broken as they are. We were watching a Jim Carrey video, and he was talking about being broken. It was very enlightened, I guess would be the word. So these are what I see. And Rich has a rinse and repeat process that I wanted to show to y'all, which makes me think there's some psychological projection going on. And let's talk about that psychological projection. Common examples of psychological projection. Example 1, reflecting hidden hatred, which we're going to get in that video in a minute. 2, deeply insecure about your own body. Well, I'm definitely not deeply insecure about my own body, but I know somebody else that is. And that's just a guess, and I'll play that audio. Number 3, often anxiety and tension. To me, I've seen Rich have anxiety or tension. He talked about it in his Halo 3 video, right? He couldn't roll out of bed, So insecure, low self-esteem. That's what I see. I don't feel that I'm self-projecting that because I don't feel I have a low self-esteem. I've had anxiety and tension one time when I had to get on stage. I didn't have to get on stage. I got on stage to do a comedic set, and you're trying to be funny in a group of people that don't know you, and so that feels really weird, right? So yeah, number 4, and here's where my problem is with psychological projection. Number 4 is, if I can do it, other people can as well. This is what gets me upset at work. I can do something, but somebody else can't do it as quickly or as good as me, and that bothers me, and I need to understand that that's me projecting, okay? Which I do, so that helps me. And maybe Rich doesn't even understand that he's psychologically projecting. But this is what I see, okay? Now, even in his titles, I feel he's psychologically projecting, because here's a title: Being Fat is Not Okay, Deal with It. Now, this is from a large man telling other fat people it's not okay to be fat, and goes on to make a video, right? Projecting. Kanye West, I thought this was funny. Kanye West, whatever the hell his name is. You're a delusional, irrelevant fraud. That's from Review Tech USA. Deal with it. Then he calls me a con artist in a video. Con artist, the 1316 killer, calls me a scam artist. Okay, cool, let's discuss it. He's calling me a con artist. So I even think he self-projects in some of these titles. Con artist, delusional, irrelevant, fraud, being fat is not okay. You think that's maybe the way he feels? Because that's how I perceive it. Now, maybe Rich does this wash, rinse, and repeat process and goes back to drama because he deals with some sort of anxiety or tension or self-esteem, and this makes him feel better. And I want to show you something. Before we get into the audio about me, I picked 2 of his latest drama videos, Kathy and Kevin. Now listen.
Come together for one moment. Look at this picture that dumbass Kathy Griffin posted a picture where...
So that's where I'm coming from.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that was the most pathetic thing I ever watched. Okay.
Now, this next piece of audio isn't really him projecting. It's just him getting to act crazy. Maybe just for that tension reason I was talking about.
The Q community have to do with you posing with a goddamn picture. You were in a picture with a lifelike replica of a decapitated head of the current president of the United States. What does feminism and LGBTQ community have to do with that? Explain. What does it have to do with it? You're doing the same shit that Kevin Spacey did a few weeks ago. He's like, oh yeah, you know.
Is it that serious? I don't think it's that serious. Now, I've done outlandish shit on my channel, but it was intentional and it was for comedic purposes. That's not what he's doing right there.
Just as blacklisted. It had nothing to do with the fact that you have a vagina, you simpleton fucking idiot. And
now that was him discussing Kathy Griffin. Now let's go to Kevin Spacey.
But Kevin Spacey, here's my question to you. What the fuck does your sexual preference have to do with you being a sexual predator that almost raped a 14-year-old? Not only are you a way to soften the blow of what he did, what a coward you are, Kevin, and you're an absolute disgusting human being. This is Richard Review.
So do you see the pattern there, guys? Kathy Griffin is a dumbass. Jesus Christ, pathetic. He gets crazy angry. She's a simpleton fucking idiot. Rinse and repeat. Kevin Spacey's in the news. What the fuck, Kevin Spacey? You're a coward. You're disgusting. Now, I'm not taking his audio and manipulating it. I'm pointing out the rinse and repeat process and how outlandish it is in these videos, there's clearly some sort of projection there. And I'm thinking he does this because those kind of videos make him feel better about himself. Here's some more audio. Now, before we play this audio, let me explain it. I did a video where I've got my shirt off and I'm doing push-ups and I'm listening to Rich's audio. And it's him reprimanding other fat people in that video title, "It's Not Okay to Be Fat." And I thought, how ridiculous is this? You have a fat guy telling other fat people it's not okay to be fat. And I felt there was some psychological projection in that. And then he gets heavier, okay? Doesn't incorporate any of that onto his channel, like he said. And so my push-up video with his audio was to show his hypocrisy. Not that he's fat, not that he's irrelevant or whatever he says, but listen to this audio because I thought it was telling.
So there's a certain YouTuber, I won't name any names, might be a killer, that made a video that said that because I'm fat and didn't lose weight from last year, that basically what I'm saying is irrelevant.
But that's not what I said.
Keep in mind, this is the same guy that, to prove his manhood to another YouTuber he never met in his life, made a video of him working out at the gym at about 2 in the morning just to show that he's a tough guy.
Which isn't true either. So there's self-projecting there. There's psychological projection there. Clearly he has an issue with his weight. Clearly that bothered him. And he thinks he's irrelevant. Why would he say that? I never said it. So that makes me think he feels he's irrelevant. And maybe he feels he's irrelevant without YouTube. And that's why he said that. That's not what I said. Anybody that's a grown person that saw my video could understand what I was implying, which was, once again, his hypocrisy, like with the Logan Paul video and the dead guy in the thumbnail. That's what that was about, but he took it in a completely different direction, once again. So maybe he's on one of my common examples of psychological projection. Maybe he's on number 2, deeply insecure about your own body. Maybe he's on number 3, often anxiety and tension, insecure, low self-esteem. But let's get into some more audio. Now this is where he titles a video, "I react to 1360 Killer's video exposing me." That's not what I was doing, but do you see how he worded it? Interesting. So let's listen to that audio.
Man, he's exposing me. So I'm going to play. I'll stop it, give my opinion, and then we'll let him, since he's obviously way more intelligent than me, and you should trust his hearing. There's another thing, too, I want to mention. There's a new trend on YouTube that I see a lot of YouTubers doing, where they go, "I'm not getting paid to do this. I have a smaller channel. You could trust my opinion. You can't trust those guys. They flip-flop. They just do videos for money." So that's the new thing now, where they get a following because people, they're like the Robin Hood of YouTube, where they're the guys that you can trust. They're the guys that they'll take care of you because they're here for you. Which, if you want someone who will actually is on YouTube for, just to give their opinions and to be part of a healthy community, you go watch someone like Maximum RD.
So you noticed he said, I was way more intelligent than him. Self-projecting, some sort of insecurity there. He also mentioned Robin Hood. So that would make him like the sheriff of Nottingham. So maybe he feels bad about himself there. And then I thought it was very telling that he said, if you want to be part of a healthy community, and then he recommends somebody else to watch.
1316 Killer, not so much. He's in a little bit different of a league, and I don't mean that in a nice way, but contradicting myself. So let's see how I contradict myself. Let's see the dumbass that I am.
I think it's very telling that he used those words.
Now, he's going to try to make me look like an idiot right there. Incremental up.
See, he's already done that twice to himself in less than a minute.
And I wasn't. Again, there's a difference between upgrade and refinement, but he's not going to show that because he's trying to make me look stupid. Because here's the thing that bothers me about 1316 Killer and people like him. What they don't seem to get, they're too thick to fucking get. Okay, let's see how he makes me look like an idiot because I like the Xbox One S.
Change your mind in just 3 fucking months.
Because the Xbox One S isn't an upgrade, you putz. The Xbox One S? Oh my God, this fucking annoys me, man. You can't be this dumb. You really can't be. You're not this dumb. You're using it to make me look like a fucking idiot.
Brick attached to the cord, I have to
There he goes again. He's going to try to make me look like I'm dumb. This is what he
plug
does.
into the wall.
Xbox One S is a big deal. And no, it's not because I'm too stupid to plug in 2 different cords. It's just that it was big, it was ugly, it was inconvenient, and a pain in the ass. That is why I'm happy. Now my simpleton brain can actually plug in an Xbox One. Games, even though it's only just as capable as the original Xbox One, not a refinement to this moron, 1316 Killer. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade to him now because he's just trying to make me look like a fucking idiot. Even though it's not an upgrade, it's the same stuff's done in the past. You're not this dumb, dude. You can't be this dumb. You could do for the X.
Later, I might change my mind, you never know.
Even though I didn't change my mind on the Xbox One S, again, you're bringing up something that, if you had logic and you thought objectively, to still wear a raincoat when it's sunny out, I would look like a fucking idiot. You gotta either stick to one opinion, even if everything changes, so your opinion should change unless you're a moron. Was talking about upgrades. Upgrades to make it more capable with gaming. Upgrades. You can't, is this the first generation you've started gaming? You can't be this ignorant. You can't be this thick. Or maybe you can. I don't know. I don't know you personally. Maybe you're the thickest fucking person on the planet.
Maybe I'm the thickest person on the planet. That's a good one. So that was from his reaction video where I supposedly expose him onto the con artist video. Now just pay attention to how many times he called me ignorant or himself ignorant. There's a lot of self-projection going on there, guys. And here it comes again.
Come true. I'm dying to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, you know me better than me, so I want to hear what you have to say. I'm curious. Please explain.
I will.
I mean, I hope you're smart enough to understand that, because from the 8 billion or beyond that, Joe, you're a real smart guy. You consider you and your subscribers a cut above me and other YouTubers like me. What is wrong with me? I must be evil and insane. I'm trying to scam the children. What am I doing?
Because that doesn't seem like some psychological self-projection, does it? Now, here's where we get into calling me Robin Hood again, which is weird, and a year later, I believe.
Are you gonna say that? You won't. But because it's hip and trendy, and because you want to seem like the fucking Robin Hood of YouTube. I don't make money, guys. I'm here to protect you from the other evil YouTubers. This is the shtick that you play. And it's so annoying, and anyone with a brain can see right through it.
I feel like maybe he questioned his subs' intelligence there. Like, so that they'll go along with what he's saying there. I don't know. I just find it odd. He keeps referring to me as Robin Hood. Does that make him the sheriff?
I don't really have a comment on that. I just thought it was, really pathetic. He was trying really...
So just keep this in mind, guys. The change of the pitch in a voice is lying, and I just thought this was interesting audio.
Deceive people? What am I trying to do? Am I trying to swing an election? Am I trying to lure little kids into doing something dangerous? What am I doing? What? It's talking about backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. Why would I try to deceive them? What in the name of God would I deceive them into doing?
Yes, because it's more believable that way. But let's get back into insulting my intelligence.
To you again, because I think you're not as smart as you proclaim yourself to be.
Here, I proclaim myself to be intelligent.
Quote unquote. I could just ignore it and not deal with jackasses like you. Again, genius, I don't have to do anything about backwards compatibility, and I've admitted to many other mistakes before. I would just shut my mouth and move forward, which, honestly, I wish I could just do that and not feel guilty about it, because it would save me a headache. Because again, I wouldn't have morons like you making 15 to 30...
So in that first video, there was about 21 times he was self-projecting. Probably about, I don't know, 9 times he directly insulted me, which is clearly psychological projection also. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that feels better. And the second batch of audio, that was 12 times in 18 minutes. The other 21 times, whatever the hell that was in 32 minutes. But after all that, I still love this piece of audio.
Everyone watching this video, I'll end the video saying this. Leave the guy alone. I actually respect him from the standpoint that he just keeps it to YouTube. He isn't going behind the scenes. He isn't harassing me with direct messages or emails or doing any other crazy crap. He's just keeping it to YouTube. And for that, I give him a lot of respect.
That sure did sound like a lot of respect. So psychological projection. Common examples of psychological projection. Reflection, hidden hatred. 2, deeply insecure about your own body. 3, often anxiety and tension, insecure, low self-esteem. That's why I think he keeps going back to drama, because not just me, which I gave you 2 examples, I also gave you 2 examples of 2 different videos in regards to celebrities, same wash and repeat. They're stupid, they're ignorant, they're jackasses, blah, 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 blah. Same shit he pulled with me, right? So, yeah. And, of course, I discussed this with my friends on Google Hangouts and through text messages. And this is what one of my friends wrote me this morning. I think he needs YouTube to feel relevant in the world. It's the only place anyone looks up to him, or at least gives him any type of validation. When he talks shit about others and people, hit that like button or compliment in agreement, he gets that feeling of belonging, wanted, or even needed. It's something he doesn't get in real life. That's the problem with some of these people, Joe. You and I don't need YouTube to feel validation. They need YouTube for that. Rich is a nobody in the real world, but damn it, he's a somebody on YouTube. Now, just so you know, guys, this is what effort looks like when it comes to creating a video and not just regurgitating a video game article and adding a half-ass opinion or yelling at some celebrity. Now I gotta ask you something, Rich. Wasn't it better when I was just being a sarcastic ass to entertain people over video games and having an opinion and trying to be creative with it? Instead of just having an opinion? Because this is what just having an opinion looks like. When you don't add any comedy to it, you just get real.